All right, everybody. Happy Monday. It is July 7th, and 4th of July weekend has passed, and we are starting the work week. Had a pretty good weekend, but a pretty long, exhausting weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed your time. Hope you guys did some fun stuff, hung out with family, friends, celebrated the American independence. It's crazy that's a controversial thing. I Since everyone has an opinion, I guess I'll share mine. I think people forget sometimes that the holiday is just a celebration of America's independence from Britain, almost 250 years ago. You don't have to. We don't all have to be on the same page about politics and about whoever's president and things that are happening in the country. We don't all have to agree on that, but I hope if you live in America, I hope we can all agree that um, there's a lot to be grateful for here, and it's nice to have traditions and to celebrate our independence a long super long time ago, and that's all it has to be. Doesn't have to be that deep. Although if you want to, if you want to go deep about it and air out your grievances about the current state of the country, then um, go feel free, go all out. But I had a nice relaxing weekend. Well, kind of relaxing. It was also kind of exhausting. It was long. Friday we went to a parade. I caught a hot dog, or someone we were with caught a hot dog and gave it to me. But they were throwing hot dogs off of a float, like in this parade, like grilling hot dogs, putting them in buns, wrapping them in foil, and then chucking them. I've never seen that before, but that was pretty exciting. That might have been the highlight of the weekend. Um, very hot day Friday. Then we didn't sleep a whole lot Friday night, and then we woke up at 5 a.m. to do the farmers market again. We are on that grind, continuing to do the markets 5 a.m. Till about noon. We are setting up our tent. I'm bringing cold brew. I'm bringing bags of coffee. And we are sitting out there in the miserable July heat. But it's still proving to pay off. Still meeting awesome people every weekend. People are excited about learning about what we're doing. We had a pretty good weekend in terms of sales. I brought 8 bags of fresh roasted coffee, and I sold 7 of them. And we sold through a lot of cold brew, which was it just felt really good. It felt really good. It's so much work before, during, and after just the cleanup. And even once you get home and you gotta clean everything out. It's a lot of work, but I'm really driven to keep doing it, and it continues to pay off. So hopefully someday it will help me to make this actual profitable business. Hopefully, hopefully soon. I'm hoping that one thing I'm thinking about also is the winter months, because there's not a lot of opportunities for weekly markets in the winter. We can find a few Christmas markets and winter, November, early December. But after that, there might be a dry period. And I'm really relying kind of on that weekly, those weekly sales from doing the market. So I'm wondering how we're gonna continue to keep sales up. I'm hoping that people are liking the coffee enough to maybe subscribe to get their coffee every week or every other week, every month, to get it delivered to their homes. I'm hoping that starts to pick up a little more, people in the community here, but we'll see. Hopefully by that time also, hopefully I'm back in the on the job in the job world too. I've been uh, unemployed. I got laid off almost a full 6 months ago, so I'm still applying like crazy. I'm still doing interviews. I'm still trying to find something that sticks. But it's a tough market, as everyone knows. Um, they say that all 140,000 jobs or whatever were added last month. but not in the industry that I work in. Most of them were, from what I read, most of them were local government jobs and healthcare and things like that, which is, my corporate work experience was not related to that. It was more supply chain, e-commerce, kind of that kind of stuff. But hopefully by then, maybe I'll be employed and I won't have to worry so much about the business making money. Because starting a business is a lot. It's a lot less stressful whenever you have a full-time job to focus on for the most time during the week. But anyway, what was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about a recap of 4th of July, and there's a couple things. I wanted to talk about, one, the coffee roasting process, how I go about it, what I do, why I do it, and then I also wanted to talk about something related to just the mental side of starting a business, which can be difficult, especially before you've actually started or made the jump to do it. And maybe I'll talk about that first, because I was just thinking about it and I wrote down a few notes about it. And basically I was thinking, before I started this company and kind of when I was first starting it, one of my subconscious fears or doubts, maybe insecurities about getting started was hey, maybe I'm not the most knowledgeable about this subject, about coffee roasting and about all the origins and all the conditions of growing and all the specific altitudes and the temperatures and when it comes to coffee roasting, maybe I don't know how the exact graph should look, how the temperatures of the bean should be during exact points, because you can do research online. You can even go to like Reddit or like any online forum about whatever you want to start, and you're going to see a whole bunch of people who seem to know a lot more than you. You're also going to see people saying things like, oh, this is just extremely hard, maybe giving you reasons why you shouldn't do it. But if it's something you really want to do, you can't let those things get in your way of doing the thing. I mean, I can't imagine doing starting any other business than a coffee roasting business, because I love it so much. I just love everything about it. So even though it does come with so many challenges, and there was a learning curve, and I didn't know everything about it whenever I started, I just naturally have been picking up those things along the way. I've been slowly growing my knowledge base about everything coffee roasting and everything business too along the way. You can talk yourself out of doing anything. You can go on the internet and you can start feeling bad about yourself because you don't know, maybe I shouldn't even start this because I don't know that much. I might, maybe I'll waste money, along the way. Maybe it won't work out. Maybe my customers will come to me and maybe they'll be able to tell that I'm not the most coffee expert in the world. But none of that happens, and none of that matters. At this point, almost a year in, my knowledge about, the business I'm in has grown exponentially. My customers continue to be very happy. And whenever they ask me questions about coffee, I can always answer them. I'm always able to tell them the things that they want to know. And it's a very fulfilling experience. But just a lot of that doubt I had originally in comparing myself to others who are farther along in the process, it just wasn't helpful to me. It wasn't helpful to me because it wasn't, what exactly am I trying to say? It just delayed my start of the thing. And I was harsh on myself, mentally, for too long, and I was too cautious for too long. But once I started getting going and doing one thing at a time and learning more and more, and then messing up with things and fixing them, and all the roadblocks I, so far have come my way in starting a business and operating it, I've been able to overcome. And it's easy to overcome, maybe not easy, but it's easier to overcome those things whenever you love what you're doing. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's stressful, but it doesn't feel like the end of the world, because you want to fix every problem that comes your way. I mean, you're driven naturally so much because it's your own thing, you own it, and you love it. I mean, it's just a great combination of things that allow you to overcome challenges and problems. I don't know if that totally made sense. I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but that's just a thought I had. I just remembered, and I'm sure there are tons of people in the same boat that are thinking about starting something, but they're thinking of all the reasons why they shouldn't, or why it might not work out, or their people on the internet might be saying about, oh, this isn't a smart business to get into, financially. But if it's something you want to do that you love, none of that matters. I mean, is coffee roasting the most lucrative business in the world right off the bat? No. Does it take a long time to cook, to grow, and to make it profitable? Which I hope it. I didn't get in the business to be poor, so hopefully I want to be successful and be a large producer of coffee and be able to serve high quality product that where my prices will reflect that, but people will be happy with it because they like the product. I'm hoping that it becomes that, but it takes a lot of time and patience, and that's okay. If I wanted to just make a lot of money, I could do the things that you so commonly hear on the internet, on YouTube or whatever, like start a course, or I don't know, do copywriting, or all these internet, what I'm talking about, all those things that I tried and I did not care at all. I just didn't care. It wasn't fun. It wasn't interesting. And I think we need an economy of more people who are interested and love what they do, even if they make less money initially. And probably if you love it enough and you're good at it enough, in the long run, you might just make more money than you would have if you took the shortcut of doing the quick money grabs. If that makes any sense. I just think everything is better whenever people are doing things that they at least slightly enjoy, and aren't just doing it because they want to make money. Like, oh, I can do YouTube thumbnails or whatever, or edit videos. Like, I just don't, I kept seeing those things, and so I was thinking this is what I should do because I keep seeing it, but I just realized I don't care. But yeah, that's that. I hope you guys can kind of see what I'm saying there. Now, the main thing I want to talk about today was the kind of my process for coffee roasting, why I do it, the way I do it, and what I do. Right now I have two origins. I have two options. One is a Guatemalan, that's the one I call Motivator, and the other one is a Ethiopian, that's the one I call Juice. I call it Juice because Ethiopians are kind of fruity, and I just thought it was kind of a catchy name. And kind of in line with my marketing, my branding is like, coffee gets you juiced up, it gets you motivated, and it's your fire starter to get you going. So those are my two current products, and they seem to be working well. I hopefully will be able to add a third one soon, a bourbon barrel aged option, which will either be the Guatemalan bean I get, or I might get like a Colombian as a third option to make those barrel aged beans. But basically, there's a lot of moving parts. First, I got my business set up with the state, of course, and then I had to rent a commercial kitchen. I'm lucky enough to have one right down the road. So I rent time in a commercial kitchen space. I roast my coffee beans there. I also make my cold brew there for the markets. So that stuff, I'm registered with my county health department, so all that's taken care of. I don't have to worry about that side of things. I buy all my materials, the bags, the labels. Right now, it's cheaper for me to get bulk bags and labels separately, and then just stick the labels on there. It cost me like $1.30 or something for bag and label together. Hopefully, I can get that lower as I start getting more and more bulk, but I bring all those materials over to the kitchen. I roast the coffee. Each batch, I have a 2.5 pound ish roaster, so I can roast about 2.5 pounds at a time, which I can do about every 10 to 15 minutes. So, I roast my coffee. I put them in the bags. Sometimes I grind it. I have a couple customers that early on wanted to have it ground, so I continue to do that for them. But I don't usually offer ground coffee because my grinder is a home grinder and it takes forever. Hopefully, whenever I level up to like a more of a commercial grinder, I can start offering more ground coffee. Because some people prefer that convenience. I don't recommend it because I recommend you grind it at home because that keeps the beans fresher longer and you get more flavor out of it. But I go in, roast the coffee, load up the bags, seal them, and I guess that's the basics of it. I try to roast them to about a medium, maybe a slightly on the lighter side of medium, because that's kind of the sweet spot for flavor wise. I can get great flavor at that roast level, whether I do drip or espresso or cold brew. Obviously, it just depends on how finely or coarsely I grind it after the fact. But I really love that sweet spot of the slightly lighter side of medium. For me personally, I do roast it darker for people sometimes. Sometimes people really like that darker roast. I don't, but if you request that, you can get a darker roast. Which sometimes I get because if you're, say you're making espresso at home and you're putting milk in there with some creamer, sometimes a dark roast bean does blend really nicely with milk and syrup or sugar or whatever you're putting in there. But I tend to just like it black. Let's see. So I got a review of my two products, why I chose those, kind of the basics of the roasting process. If you guys want to know more about the roasting process, I could do a more in-depth, or I could do like a video walk along kind of while I'm roasting. I could show you my the graphs and the roaster while I do it. If you guys are interested in that, or I could just talk about it more in here. That was a pretty surface level overview of it. Still going. But that's a very, very general overview of my coffee roasting process. It somehow is a lot to manage. Somehow it feels like I'm trying to keep track of so many things all at once, all the time. I'm trying to keep track of my inventory levels for all the materials I have, and then planning out the amounts that I need to roast, along with the bags I bring to the market, which luckily have been selling, and then what I need to roast for the cold brew jugs. Somehow it ends up just being a lot to manage all the time. So I try to take notes. I try to keep track of everything. I take a lot of notes on my computer. I use Asana sometimes to track my milestones and to set due dates for myself, which is really helpful. Kind of drawing a blank here. But yeah, I'm still chugging along, still staying really busy somehow, but yet still on the job market. If I end up getting a job, it's going to be even worse because this already takes up a lot of my time. But it's, the money's not totally there yet. So I'm going to have to hopefully find a job soon, and then do this in my mornings super early and evenings. All the while, I'm finishing up an album. My album's almost finished. It's getting mastered. It's artwork is still being worked on. I am not a very good visual artist, so I'm just having someone else do that. I would rather pay someone who I know can make something cool that I would like than try to do it myself, because it would look like crap. And I would also prefer to have someone do it over AI, because I'm really not excited about the future of AI integrating into our creative and our business worlds. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm not going to use AI art. I'm not going to use AI advertisements for my coffee. I'm not going to be doing that. I'd rather pay someone who deserves to be paid, who can do it well, to keep that human touch in there and to keep stimulating the economy. Unless things change, and we kind of figure out a way to keep people employed and to have jobs with the use of AI. Unless that happens, I'm kind of actively turning my back against it, which I don't know it might be smart. It might not be smart. I might be stunting myself. But we'll see. We'll see where things go from there. I did over 20 minutes today. That's pretty good. Again, just a lot going on. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hope you guys have a good work week and a good weekend. Wherever you're at, if you're in the U.S., hope you're staying cool, because it is so hot right now. Yeah, if you watched this, thank you for watching. No one has really watched this so far. This is episode 3. Maybe it'll start to pick up soon, but if not, oh well. I'll just gonna keep doing it. But anyway, thanks guys.